Beautiful and handsome students of God First College, I greet you once again. We'll be looking at your topic in technical drawing this afternoon, involute of a circle. I come again, the involute of a circle. We have looked at the parabola. We are going to look at the involute, how you draw the involute of a circle. That is your week 3 work in technical drawing. I come again, involute of a circle. As given to you in the scheme of work, or as you have been sent on the school portal as the scheme of work, we follow it up like that. We have to look at the objectives of this lesson. We share it together as usual or in our usual manner way. That is knowing what we are supposed to achieve at the end of this lesson. One of, or the objectives rather, are at the end of this lesson, you should be able to define involute, state the steps involved in constructing involute of a circle, and lastly, construct an involute of a circle. These are the objectives for this particular lesson. You will recall that in our last video talking about how to construct the parabola, I told you that making use of the French curve is best for you rather than using the a seed of broom or whatever thing you want to use. Or some people want to manipulate it by using the protractor. The protractor has its own way it is being shaped. It will not give you the exact shape or the curvature of that particular object or structure you want to draw while you use the protractor. The protractor is structured in one way, or it has one shape. When you begin to turn, you begin to have the same way it is being produced. You will understand better why you make use of your French curve in all these drawings. We will also proceed from here to the cycloid and other types of drawing that I want to do. That will be your next week work, that is the cycloid. But we're looking at the involute of a circle today. The involute of a circle is the path traced by the free end of a thread as it unwound from the circle. All this is just like the parabola we've discussed in our last class or in our last video. As it goes round, you will recall that in that video, we talked about after the rectangle being drawn, the rectangle was divided. Remember we talked about the span and the height. They were both divided, both the span or the length and breadth of the rectangle were divided. Talking about the last class now. And then we had lines radiated to the middle of the span, that is the length of the rectangle. Lines radiated to it. That point was called E, if you can remember, or if you have listened to the video very well. Then we radiated lines to that point E. Where line 1 meets line 1, we put a full stop. Where line 2 meets line 2, we put a full stop, and so, or put dots. We use dots to indicate them. And at the end, we draw a curve. That curve we drew will be different from what we want to look at today. This one is a bit different from that of the parabola. Though we're going to make use of the same French curve to have the curve, we're still talking about curve. That thick line you got at the end is the curve that you are producing. That's the involute we want to look at. Now let us see how it goes. To draw the involute, one thing you do is step one. Step one is to draw the circle and divide each circumference into any number of equal parts. In course of this particular class or lesson, or in my example, the circle is divided into 8. I said in this case, that is what you are saying here. 8 in this case. The circle is drawn, and I made use of the radius of the circle I used is 3 centimeters. That 3 centimeters gives you a diameter of 6 centimeters. Don't forget, you know the difference between a radius and a diameter. We've treated those things in our first term. What we do is, after dividing this circle, the circle can be divided or could be divided into 10 equal parts, but in this case, it is 8. I divided it. After that, you draw tangent at O, 1, 2, and the remaining divisions. Then at O, you mark off the same number of equal space as the circumference of the circle is divided into. That is, after the circle, you have point O, that is the top. Then you have 1, 2, 3. Just be looking at my hand. 4, 5, 6, 7, and then O. That is the division of the circle. We were also told how to draw a circle in our first term and divide into 2, into 4, into 8, into 12, and so many others. We did that in SS1 first term. But now, after drawing the circle and divided into 8, you draw from the point at the top of the circle. I got a point called O. That is where you now start the division to the left-hand side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then O becomes your point 0 becomes your 8. Then you take a straight line with your T-square. Take a straight line. Then the radius or the distance, the space between each of the points are mark off there. That is what you are saying. Draw tangent O, 1, 2, and so many other. At O, mark off the same number of equal space as the circumference of the circle. The circumference was divided into 8. Then that tangent I also divided into 8. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. That is the tangent, the straight line that is drawn at point O, going up. That is horizontal line. The radius I use, or the space between each of them, 0 to 1, is 2 cm. Remember I said the circle was having a radius of 3 centimeters. But the space between each of the marks, that is mark 1, mark 0, mark 1, mark 2, mark 3, and to 8, the space between them is 2 centimeters. You could, as I will instruct you, if I give you an assignment or you want to do on your own, you could use a radius of 4 centimeters for the circle. You could also use a space of 4 centimeters. Probably you're using A3 paper. You can use the same radius you use for the circle for the space you have. But what we know is the circle was divided into 8. The tangent should also be divided into 8. That is the most important thing. Then the next thing you do is to mark the length of the tangent for 1 of 1 unit length, 2 of 2 unit length, 3 of 3 unit length, 4 of 4 unit length, 5 of 5 unit length, 6 of 6 unit length, 7 of 4 unit length, and lastly 8 unit length on the horizontal line that you drawn. That 8-1 is the last point that you draw there. We stop at 8 unit length here at this case because we are using a circumference of circle divided into 8. A circumference drawn through these points, that is whatever you now draw, the curve you draw through this point is called the involute, or that particular circle is the required involute. Let us look at what or how we start. I have explained how to draw drawing the circle and divide it into 8 equal parts. After that, you draw the tangent. I'm recapping or coming again for you to understand better. You draw the tangent at point O. You take it straight. You divide into 1, 2, 3, up to 8 as you have divided the circle into. Then the next thing you will do is to mark the length, 1 of 1 unit length, 2 of 2 unit length, 3 of 3 unit length, up till you get to unit 8. That is what we are going to look at. Then let's have, this is the divided or circle divided circle, or circle divided into 8 equal parts. This is the circle. I've told you it is 8 centimeters. Then this circle that is 8 centimeters is having point 0 here, point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5, point 6, point 7, and then 0 is the 8th one. The circle is 3 centimeters, that's the diameter is 6, is divided into 8 equal parts, not just 8, but 8 equal parts. The next thing we'll do is the second stage I'm talking about, is for you to have the tangent drawn. The tangent is taken from point O here, that is the top of the circle I've told you. Some people can start it here and call the point O. You still draw a tangent. Your involute will turn upside down. But in this case, mine is going to be like this. So you have from point O here, you draw the horizontal line. That is the tangent at O. You remember what is tangent. You draw the horizontal line. Then you have here point 1. This is 0 to 1 is 2 centimeters. 1 to 2 is 2 centimeters. 2 to 3 is 2 centimeters. 3 to 4 is 2 centimeters. 4 to 5 is 2 centimeters. 5 to 6 is 2 centimeters. 6 to 7 is 2 centimeters. And then lastly, point 8. 2, 2, 2, 2. That is the tangent you have drawn. Then you divide it also into 8 because the circle was also divided into 8 equal parts. Have we gotten that? All right. Let's move forward. Hope you are good students and I know you very well. If you have gotten this, the next stage we'll go to is to draw tangent at each point. At point 1, you draw 1 centimeter. That is what I use. From point 1, another tangent. You just turn your drawing board. With the T-square, you draw a tangent. At point 2, you also draw another tangent, 2 centimeters. At point 3, you draw another tangent, 3 centimeters. Each case. Point 4, you draw another tangent, 4 centimeters. At point 5, you draw another tangent, 5 centimeters. At point 6, you draw another tangent, 6 centimeters. At point 7, you draw another tangent, 7 centimeters. Then point 8 gives you the last one. That is the last point there. That is what you will see if you come here. This is tangent point 1 at point 1, 1 of 1 unit length. That's what it is called in what I gave to you as the steps. Then 2 of 2 unit length, this is 2 cm. 3 of 3 unit length, 3 centimeters. 4 of 4 unit length, 4 centimeters. 5 of 5 unit length, 5 centimeters. 6 of 6 unit length, 6 centimeters. 7 of 7 unit length, 7 centimeters. And then lastly, you have this point 8. These are the tangents you draw at each of the point that you've divided the circle into. If I come again, after dividing the circle, you now draw the tangent. If you draw the tangent, you divide the tangent into the number you've divided the circle into. Then you now draw 1 of 1 unit length, 2 of 2 unit length, 3 of 3 unit length, 4 of 4 unit length, with your T-square lapping very well, and then you'll be turning the drawing board. Each of the point you want to draw, you just take it is a tangent. We have discussed how to draw tangent in our first term. Then 5 of 5 unit length, 6, this is a tangent on this. Then 7, this is a tangent on this. Then the 8th one is the horizontal or the first tangent you took at point O. Having done that, you will now use your French curve. Starting from point 0, you cut a thick line or very bold line that will touch here, touch here, touch here, touch here, and be going around and going around, going around, come and end here. That is the involute of that circle. I come again. You start from here. You take a thick line, bold line, touching here, 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 and then ending at point 8. That is the involute of that circle. Well, let us look at how that is drawn. This is the last stage. Involute is produced. You see that it is from 0 here, touching point 1, the end of that one of 1 unit length, 2, 3, the end. That's the end of each of the unit length, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then going through straight to point 8. That is the involute. So this curved line that you have seen and is bold or thick is the involute of the circle that we want to get from the beginning. Remember, I've always advised you, whenever you're watching my video, especially on technical drawing, pick your instrument, put them down, watch the video stage by stage. That is, pausing it at a particular stage. For example, at this stage, at stage 1, for example, which is drawing the circle. Let us come back to stage 1, drawing the circle. At this stage of drawing the circle, after drawing the circle and divided into 8 equal parts, you will do the practical, pause the video, just look at it the way it is, do your own. Then divide it into 8 equal parts. If you have gotten that, you can now move to stage 2. I am having a recap of what we have discussed. You can now move to stage 2 to draw the tangent 2. You draw the tangent and divide it into the same number of equal parts that you have done here. It could be 10 for this and then 10 for this. You also do that and see that you have gotten it, you pause. Then you move to stage 3 or the next stage. As the case may be, you draw 1 of 1 unit length, 2 of 2 unit length, 3 of 3 unit length. This is how you'll be following it. When you get this one done, you can pause. Then you will now play again to trace the points and then get your involute. You have completed your work. Don't just believe, I have watched the video, I've gotten everything. Then you begin to do your drawing after you have watched the video and you might have forgotten 1 or 2 things that you've learned from the video. This is not just a theoretical work, it is practical. Whatever you see at each stage, learn to lay your hands on the job. Thank you very much and God bless you. Till we meet again, remain blessed and